Hello, I'm Jason Sparks from Orlando, Florida. Originally from Dalton, Georgia. I'm 36 years old, never been married, and I have no kids. Um, when I was about 12, 13 years old, I guess that's when I really began being interested in girls. Um, on a more of just holding hands. I was younger. It was about holding hands. I was always into sports, so I really wasn't into girls until I was about 13. I remember taking a sex education class, uh, and the sex education class was taught by Mr. Barber, and Mr. Barber was the head football coach. And I remember seeing the video that 'cause our sex education class was segregated. A woman taught the girls, and a man taught the boys. So it was all boys, and we watched a video on a woman giving birth. So the the woman giving birth video was pretty much it for me. I decided I didn't want to have kids at that moment. But when I was about 15, I started working after school. I started after school jobs, and my very first job was at the Dalton Golf and Country Club, where um, I didn't lose my virginity there, but that's just my first job that I really had, an after school job. Um, Met Deborah Norville, which she's from my hometown of Dalton, Georgia, and went to my high school. She's a Dalton High alumni, Deborah Norville. But met her, and after the Dalton, and I was a busboy there. But after the busboy thing, I started working for a local grocery store called Stafford's. Stafford's is no longer in business. Stafford's Food Lane is what it was called, and I bagged groceries there for a living. And I, about 3 or 4 months after school I would go to my job, and I would work probably 4 or 5 hours a night, maybe 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, maybe, depending. Always Saturdays and Sundays I would work. Fridays I would work, and probably like Tuesday, a couple days during the week. So about 4 or 5 days, about 5 days a week, I would work 20 hours. Well, over time, you develop relationships with customers because at the time it was nothing but brown bags. You'd put the groceries in a brown bag, you would put them in the buggy, and you would take them out to the car. And um, a cashier who worked there with me, her sister would come in all the time. And over time, her sister, and I don't really want to name, no, I don't want to really want to name names because I don't know, where this is going to go. But anyway, her sister was a heavy set girl. And at the time, I think I was 17, probably at this time when I started working at Stafford's, I was probably about 16 or 17 years old. I was driving, of course. I had an 81 Mustang, T-tops, red leather interior. I thought I was the bomb, but anyway. I guess her sister thought I was cute. So her sister would her sister would always come in, and she would buy groceries, and I would bag them and take them out to her car. She'd have 5 or 6 bags, and I would put them in the buggy, and I would roll them out to her cart, and she would give me a tip. And then it started out like she might buy like a watermelon, like one item, and ask me to take it out to her car. So I would, like something small, like something stupid, like, it could, like, dishwasher. I need you to carry that to the car for me. So, not thinking, and then she would always give me a $2 tip. Well, one day we went out to the car, and she kind of made a pass at me. She goes, you are awfully cute. Why don't you have a girlfriend? And I said, I don't know. I was skinny. I weighed about a buck 35. I was about 135 pounds when I was a junior in high school. But I continued to take her groceries out, and one day that I took her. She actually had groceries, and I took her groceries out, and we stood out there and we talked for a little bit. She asked me what I was going to do after high school, and if I was going to college, and where I was going to go, or if I had decided, And it's just she was concerned. She was a concerned lady. What I thought she was a concerned lady. Well, a few times later, eventually one night, she came in. When I say night, I'm figuring it's probably 5, 6 o'clock after she got off work. I take her groceries out, and she slips me her number. And she says, I would really love to spend some time with you. I could probably teach you a few things. And I had never had sex in my life, ever. And I did not know how to take that. I didn't know, I didn't even say anything to her sister. A couple of days later, her sister says to me while we're at work, and her sister's a lot older than me. Her sister's probably 5, 6 years older than me. Her sister's probably 20. No, I would say her sister was probably about 4 years older than me. I say I was 16 or 17, and I think I know I was 17. Her sister was probably 21 or 22, and her sister says, "So, my sister said that she gave you your number." I'm like, "Yeah." Were you gonna call her? And I said, I don't know. I mean, she was a grenade. She was a fat girl. I mean, she was a bit. She had a pretty face. I mean, I really didn't know what to do, and I knew about sex because at 17 I masturbated. That's that's not something I really want to tell the world, but whatever. It is what it is. If you don't masturbate at 17, then I guess something's wrong with you. But anyway, I was masturbating, so I'm and I had snuck into some of my stepdad's um, VHS movies that I had found, and I'd watched some of those, and so I knew what sex was. I knew the idea of sex. I knew how it's supposed to go down, but I didn't know how to do it. It's like I know how carpet's laid, but I don't know how to lay carpet. You understand? So she comes in one day. She comes back in the store, and I take her groceries out, and um, she kind of acts like, and I've got her phone number. She kind of acts like nothing's up or whatever. And I said, hey, I have a work period, where I don't have to, I get out of work, I get out of school early to come to work, and my parents really don't know what I do because they don't come home until 6, 5:30 or 6. So what if I give you a call after school and I drop by your place? And so we set that up. So I got out of school that day. I got out of school one day, and I didn't have to work, but I still got out for my work period. And I went home, um, gave her a call, and she just lived about, I don't know, 2 miles. I mean, just right down the road. I mean, a couple of miles. I mean, Dalton is a small town. Was a small town. And so I went over to her house, thinking that I was gonna, you know, get it in, and she didn't want to do anything there. So she says, "Hey, can we go to your house?" I was like, "Oh shit, I don't know. Can we? Excuse my language. Can we go to my house?" So anyway, we go back to my house, and she sits on my bed. She has a skirt on. She's kind of a bigger girl. I'd say she was probably around about 200 pounds, maybe 185. She was a big girl, and she asked me if I had a condom. I was like, no. And she pulled a condom out of her purse, and she gives it to me. She gives it to me, and I didn't know how to put this condom on. I had no idea what I was doing. She put the condom on for me, and I had sex with her. She put it on, and I say I had sex. It wasn't just like that. She put the condom on, and I felt her breast, and I I was trying to simulate what I saw in these movies, but basically she was just wanting to have sex, and so we had sex, which lasted about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But then, of course, I ejaculated. I guess prematurely ejaculated, I guess you could say. I was embarrassed. Uh, she, I guess I kind of wanted to snuggle a little bit. I mean, I was vulnerable. I'm not gonna lie. It was a weird situation, and I'll never forget it. Ever, ever, ever forget it. Ever. It was uh, it was very it was quick. It was very interesting, and do I regret it? I don't really regret it, but I wished I wish that I could have lost my virginity to a someone that I really knew, that I really cared about. But she was an older woman, and 2 minutes. She didn't really teach me anything. I don't know if I was more embarrassed or if she was embarrassed, or I don't I I never saw her again after. I mean, I saw her in the store, but I never like saw her on that kind of basis ever again. Um, I so I come away with that, with anybody who plans on losing their virginity. I totally recommend that, you know be sure you know what you're doing and who you're doing it with. Girls and guys are different, but I'm a little softy, and I wish that I had lost my virginity. I wish I had lost my virginity to someone else. But it's a great story. It is what it is. And did I learn anything from it sexually? No, because I was more scared than anything. Did I come away with it? Come away with anything from it? Yeah, I did. Uh, don't have don't lose your virginity in your parents' house, first of all, and be sure when you decide to lose your virginity with someone, first of all, with someone of your close to your age, and someone that you know and you really, really care about. This is Jason Sparks from Orlando, Florida. Thank you for listening to my story. Peace.